Okay, hopefully we
It'll
are
be good.
going live.
Live.
La, 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 la. Oh, I spilled my tea already. Oh, that's not good.
Hi, everyone.
Wait, are we there? Are we there?
We should
I don't
be.
know if we're there. Oh my gosh, we're there.
We're live, yeah.
Hey, everybody, how are you doing? It is me, Catherine, and Isaac. Oh, hold on, let me kill the volume. All right, we should be live on the YouTube. On the YouTube, talking to the book.
Yes.
Yay!
So please excuse the audio today. Our cable to our main microphone.
Well, it had an incident.
It had an incident.
This is. Oh, I dropped it. That's probably how it happened.
Yeah.
This is what remains of the microphone cable. So alas, we don't have a proper microphone.
Yeah, so we're using our computer's mic, internal
Yay!
mic. Yay!
Technology!
So it might be a little nasally.
So I hope you guys are having a good time. We're having a good week.
Yeah,
It's been a crazy week with more snake trouble. I won't bore you with snakes.
More rattlesnakes.
But yeah, I got trapped outside our house by a snake. And Isaac was a hero. we'll just leave it at that. I may have been standing on a bench going, ah!
Oh boy. Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing really well. We are, looks like we're basically being abducted by aliens.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Today we're going to be talking, well, we kind of have a theme, I guess, today. Aliens, Area 51, and summer vacations. It's kind of a fun thing to talk about.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're going to talk about today. The Tangent Show is our show where we talk about creativity, business, art, and technology, all of our favorite things.
Yes.
How are you, Isaac?
I'm excellent. I'm doing good.
Are you well?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just sort of giving people a bit of time to show up. Cool. So, all right, let's get started and let's start talking about some of the things we have to share. So, let me do a screen share. So should we start talking about aliens?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we'll open
jump right
straight
in.
up and jump straight in on the aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, so aliens are kind of in the well, not aliens strictly. Oh wait, hold on, I shared the wrong thing. Oh, it's all going wrong today. Let me make sure I share the right thing. Hold on, there it is. Okay. Okay, so 400,000 people. I think it's closer to 500,000 actually since this morning. 500,000 people are planning on raiding Area 51 to see them aliens.
This is my favorite story of the year, I think. I absolutely love this.
So you sort of woke me up this morning and said, oh my gosh, look at this. All these people are going
so it just
Area
happened.
51.
I think it happened yesterday or maybe today, but it's taken off today. Some dude started a Facebook event saying that let's storm Area 51. So if you're living under a rock, Area 51 is a secret military,
I think everyone
military base in Nevada that has a long history of aliens and technology and weapons.
Well, actually, they claim it's just like an air base. It's like an air range or air testing, should we say, for like secret aircraft.
Yes.
But the theory is that there's
aliens. Ooh. So
I think this is kind of funny, this whole concept of 500,000 people planning to storm a military base. And I think what's crazy about this is one of those things where kind of hyper reality kicks in.
Oh, absolutely.
Like someone creates a Facebook post like, oh, I've got a good idea. And then people are like, oh, that sounds fun. Let's jump on it. And I'm guessing that literally no one will actually show up because it would probably be a very bad idea to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much what
I think they're going to get tired going halfway into the desert. They're just they're going to give up.
So I don't know. So it's interesting. I posted about this in our group sort of just earlier, and someone went, oh my gosh, but isn't Area 51 trademarked? And I was really thinking about this, about how you can use Area 51 to create projects, to create products, to create books, to create all kinds of things. Now, be aware that on Merch by Amazon, and I think the guy was coming from sort of Merch by Amazon, which is the t-shirt.
Wait, which guy?
The guy in our group who was asking about Area 51 being a trademark.
Okay.
So with Merch by Amazon, they are super, super strict on trademarks. And what they tend to do is auto-check for trademarks. With KDP, bear in mind, we're talking about books. People write books on a lot of topics. Books are kind of protected almost in US culture, US society. People want freedom to write books. So trademarks aren't quite such a big thing on KDP as they are on merch.
Yeah.
The key thing is that you don't want to infringe on trademarks, because like in US law, and I'm not a lawyer, obviously, but in US law, infringing on trademarks is what is illegal. And infringement usually means confusing people with your product. So like if I make a journal and I put Kate Spade or Nike on the front, that's pretty much an infringement, because clearly I'm not Kate Spade, and putting Kate Spade on the front of a journal would lead a reasonable person to say, that could be a Kate Spade journal.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much a counterfeit. But if you're creating like a guidebook to something, then that's not really going to be a trademark infringement if you're sort of using fair use of the trademark. So merch rules are different from KDP rules. I just kind of wanted to put that out there. And Area 51, sure, you can, I really don't see any problem talking about Area 51 in your books. There are a lot of books about UFOs, aliens, conspiracy theories, Area 51. So don't infringe on trademarks, but at the same time, like, don't be freaked out about sort of mentioning like real words and real places in your books, because this isn't merch. So what could you do with Area 51? If let's say you're making books, because I know a lot of people come here from the KDP group. So what can you do with something like Area 51 if you're creating books? Have you any ideas, Isaac?
Oh boy, yeah. Honestly, like my head is spinning right now with so many different ideas.
Watch out for the UFO.
Oh.
You know how I did this? This is Noun Project. So I just got a little UFO from Noun Project.
Yeah.
And I totally canvassed it up. So this picture behind us.
That's pretty cool.
So Noun Project.
Noun Project. That's the way to go.
If you have some UFOs.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. First thought that comes to mind are the different types of people that are interested in UFOs. Some people just love the whole concept of it and think it's fun. So like you can probably do like more like the meme crowd.
Oh, like it was so
a tongue-in-cheek approach to it.
Okay, so you're thinking like you could do journals with like cutesy aliens. I think kids like aliens.
Yes.
We've done quite a few like alien.
Oh yeah,
books.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's kind of a fun approach.
Yeah. You got War of the Worlds, so you can wrap
like
kind
the
of
B movies.
Yes. Yes. So you can wrap a lot of fictional type.
But what do you think here? Are you thinking like just covers, or have you got any ideas for what you could put in your book? Because I've got some ideas.
Okay. Sure. So if we're going with the tongue-in-cheek crowd, we can do like a fun cover with like a composition book. If you go really basic, you just do a fun
UFO
my
God, I'm so bored of composition books.
They are boring. They are boring.
Bored of composition books.
They are. So another thing, maybe a prompt book, 100 ways of why aliens are like
this is cool.
Can destroy anything. Why they're like super like badass.
Well, so you could have a prompt book just to write. What about a sci-fi writing book? So you could do a prompt book with sci-fi writing prompts.
Yeah.
That would be kind of fun.
Yes.
Okay. So I was also thinking about public domain. Let me switch my share over here a bit. So it's actually kind of interesting when you start browsing around with Area 51. So my thoughts went to public domain. And what I did was I went and looked at some of the government sites, because there's actually a lot of declassified documents. In fact, let me go to this one, around Area 51 and UFOs in general.
Nice.
So this website here, and if you're in our Curate group, we've talked about this quite a lot in there, the FBI Vault. This is a pretty cool website. So you can see here, they have a bunch of documents about UFOs that you can like browse through, find some cool.
Now this goes to the second crowd. This goes to the believers.
To the believers?
We're going to call this the believers, and they're huge.
Is that your target demographic?
Yeah, for this, yes.
So this is kind of neat. Now, there's a lot of things. So first thing I want to say, if a document was created by the federal government, it is usually in the public domain. Anything created by the federal government, by federal government employees in their line of duty, that's usually in the public domain. So you can actually find a ton of documents that you can republish on websites like the FBI Vault, the CIA also have a list of really interesting documents. They've got a lot of things in there. The National Security Agency, they have tons of stuff on UFOs and Area 51.
Oh, this is
now,
so fun.
Not all of these links are in the public domain. So you do have to kind of bear in mind that it's federal government websites. If it's produced by federal government, it's public domain. So not all of these are. Like if it's New York Times or something I see there, that is not public domain, or National Enquirer. Really? The National Security Agency are reposting the National Enquirer? Okay then. But some of these, like Department of State, Celestial Body, Observed, this stuff's cool.
Nice.
So there's a lot of ways you can deal with information like this. You can curate it into a book that you actually intend to sell, just like a curated set of documents. You can add your own information to that. You can add all kinds of stuff to that. You can also kind of use these documents as artwork in a way.
Oh, okay.
Like you can collage them into things. You can use snippets. You can find, like, what I don't know which one it was. I found one of these and it was great. It was an FBI or a military declassified document. And it kept saying there were 3 UFOs, brackets, probably balloons, approaching this area. And then there was like all the black lines, like the Mueller report, right? And then it kept, every time it said UFOs, it put brackets, probably balloons.
Oh, how funny.
And I'm like, I love this. I kind of want to make like an art project called Probably Balloons.
A weather balloon.
Yeah, but I just love that phrase, like probably balloons. And they said it every single time they mentioned UFOs. And I feel like things like that are really fun to turn into like journals.
Oh, yeah.
To create, like you could do puzzle books.
Yeah.
Oh, like, hey, what if you did like a puzzle book? And you had a UFO puzzle book and you had to find the balloons on every page or count the balloons.
Yeah, right. So
I saw some neat puzzle books in Barnes and Noble, actually. They had one that was like a regular puzzle book, but they'd themed it like Russian spy stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So it was really cool. It had that sort of Russian spy theme with like crack the KGB, whatever. And, like it was all codes and secrets.
So you're not watching Stranger Things?
I'm not.
They tapped into that in the new season. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah.
What does Laurie say? Laurie said she tried to do a Burning Man journal and the lawyer for Burning Man made her take it down because apparently the whole thing. Yeah, Burning Man is super
weird.
strict on things.
Yeah.
So what else say? Okay, so let me go back a little bit on the trademark copyright thing. So that I see. You see, this is where it starts crossing into infringement. And it's difficult because it's not like there's not a hard and fast rule. Like some game developers, for example, or some festival people just want you to do anything because they see it as promotion.
They love the fan art, fan
fiction. Other companies, they'll call anything infringement and they'll go straight to Amazon. So it's one of those things where it's like you kind of need to look at how you're using the copyright and trademark, look at how litigious the company is. Because the thing is, even if you aren't infringing on the trademark, if they happen to be a company or an organization like Burning Man, who are just aggressive about things, then they can go to Amazon. So it's like, it's one of those things where it kind of depends how risk averse you are. I mean, I don't have a problem with using something like Area 51. It's commonly in use. It's a military place. It was, I believe it got its name from being referenced as Area 51 in a document about the Vietnam War that was released by the military. But actually, I believe they call it Groom Lake Range now. Like there's a couple of other
names,
and there's another name for it that I've forgotten, but it's the name of a place. So I really think Area 51. I mean, I'm not a lawyer though, so like take it or leave it, but I would personally not have any fear of using Area 51.
And I think the other thing, like Nevada and Arizona, like both the states in general are known for heavy UFO activity and sightings.
Yes.
So I don't know, you might be able to Roswell, right?
Oh my
Roswell,
gosh. So I went to Roswell many years back, and it's hilarious because everything there is UFO themed and everyone is absolutely if you look like a tourist and or you have a British accent and you go to Roswell, they will swear blind to you that UFOs are real. Like every single person, whether they work in like McDonald's, whether they're like,
oh, that's funny.
And they have little museums and bookstores, and just everyone's like talking aliens.
Well, it's like the Loch Ness monster, right?
Yes.
It's like the whole town just made a tourist attraction out of this, you know, the monster living in the lake. So
it's like, you have to believe. I lost track. Oh, so anyway, you can do things like you can take documents like this and collage them. You can, like, there's a lot of ways to use things like this. You can find the most interesting quotes, and you can do something like quotes from declassified documents and put those throughout your, like, you can make like an inspirational sort of like a diary.
Oh yeah.
And instead of having inspirational quotes, you could use quotes from declassified documents.
That's so cool. Like, so cool.
It's kind of a matter of just getting creative with it, really. But yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. So I guess people were running into problems on merch would be my guess. I haven't really been following the merch groups.
Right.
But my guess is that people might be running into problems with merch because it's I think it might be trademarked for t-shirts.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing it's like a big thing. Suddenly everyone wants to try and catch all the people who are going to be doing the run and stuff like that. So I'm not really commenting on merch. That's kind of its own beast. But as far as just sort of taking ideas and inspiration and using them in your books, like Area 51,
yeah,
I would. It wouldn't really worry me. I'm so hot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's getting it.
I think I'm worried my hair's going to melt because it's kind of pink at the moment, and I think I'm going to end up with a pink face. But that's okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm loving this. I love it. I think it's going to go up to 500,000 people right now.
Whoa.
And
do you think they're actually going to show up?
I believe so. I believe not everyone, obviously, but I think there's going to be a large number of
people are going to show up.
No, I'm guessing maybe a few hundred.
Oh my God! Pack your sunscreen if you go, guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Myself and Isaac do not endorse or encourage anyone to try and storm a U.S. military base.
An unidentified one that's not on the map too. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, and we're trying to keep the show slightly shorter today because I don't know, we've got 10-year-old boys running all over the house. We've got just a million things going on.
It's a little busy here at the house.
Cool. Oh, so I have something fun to share. Let me quickly share over. Actually, I wanted to talk about something in our group that I shared this week. And I'm hoping to do a video about this, actually, because I think it'd be kind of neat. But I did a thing this week in our group, and that's the KDP group. And we talked about book covers using Canva. And a couple of things always come, every time I mention Canva, someone goes, oh my gosh, but aren't all the Canva elements, you can't use them for print on demand?
No, go right ahead.
Oh, so that's sort of true, sort of not true. So with Canva, there are lots of elements. Elements are basically their stock images. Some of them you can use for print on demand, and those are usually the ones that say free and do not have a crown beside them where it says free. There are others that are single use only, and those have a little crown usually. If you want to double check whether or not you can use a Canva image for your books, then what you need to do is go to the thumbnail preview, click the menu. There's like 3 dots on the menu. You click the 3 dots and then you click the title of the image. If it says free to use in all your designs, you are good to go on KDP. If it says single use only or one-time use only, then don't use that in your KDP books or any print on demand. So that was the advice I got from Canva. That's the advice I usually give in the group. However, what I really want to say is that I think Canva is pretty awesome, not for the images, not for the elements in it, but as a collaging tool and as a template tool.
Yes.
And something that's really, really cool about Canva is that recently they added book covers. So you can make book covers in Canva. So let me see if I can click through these pictures. So these are all book covers, like just I mocked up in Canva. Basically, when I couldn't sleep the other night. I was sort of sitting up and it was hot and I couldn't sleep. So I sat in Canva and just played around with their book covers. Now, all of these photographs are not Canva elements. So this picture of the wall, this picture of the flowers, the ground, the bench.
I love it.
Okay, do you know how I took these photos in 5 minutes in the shopping mall when the kids were dragging me to Hot Topic?
That's awesome.
So these are all pictures I took myself in a shopping mall, literally in a couple of minutes. So even the plants, that was in a planter in the shopping mall.
And this is the fun of being an artist, because you're putting on your artist hat and you're looking for patterns, for textures, for interesting things that easily get unnoticed.
You know, this was like the wall of a Wendy's or something.
I believe it. Yeah, and it looks awesome.
But it kind of looks like you just put it in a different context. So we have a challenge going in the KDP group at the moment of go take some pictures on your phone and then turn them into a book cover with Canva. So honestly, taking the pictures took me about 5 minutes, because literally the kids were just dragging me through the mall. And I was just like, wait a minute, let me take a picture of this wall. Let me take a picture of these flowers in the pot. And then making these covers, I don't know, it was about half an hour when I couldn't sleep.
It's really cool.
So it's really, really easy. If you're struggling with book covers, what you can do is just go to Canva, and on the home page, when it says create your design, just type in book cover and it should come up with a whole bunch of templates for you. Now, the only thing is the book cover template in Canva doesn't match with KDP books. However, what you can do is use the tangent. If you've got tangent templates, you can use our template, or you can create your own space, like your own canvas. And then you can design the book cover in the wrong size, and then just copy and paste all the elements over into one that's the correct size.
Yes.
Or alternatively, you can just resize that one to the correct size.
Yep.
So it's a little bit of a workaround, but honestly, it just makes it so easy to design a cover. Like, you don't have to worry about the typography. Like, all of this typography was done.
That's awesome.
I didn't have to do this layout with the spaces, and I just added a picture. So that's pretty much all you need to do.
That's really cool. And Canva also has some photo manipulation filters, so you can make the background kind of blurry.
Yes, or black and white.
Black and white, and so to give you some kind of more dynamic elements to your design. And so, I mean, there's enough there to really, you can go wild.
You know what I like about photos is that you can just really crop them and zoom in on what you want. So you can take a picture of, like, I don't know, you take a picture of a shopping mall, but if you zoom in on something, whether it's like grass or a tile or wall, or, and I mean, there's no copyright issues here if you're taking a picture of a wall.
let me put on my tech hat for a second here. Now, most phones today capture images in what's declared as high resolution images. And photos themselves, as long as there's no text in them, you can actually scale them up a little bit larger without noticing any pixelation or blurriness with them. So what you're doing right here is absolutely going to work. If you take an image and you stretch it out to be a full front, spine, and back, you might notice it a little bit blurry, but images are really forgiving. You can scale images up, photographic images.
With photographs,
yes. And the thing is, if there's text in there, text is usually the first thing you're gonna notice when an image looks pixelated.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, but you can like get creative with this and use, and I mean, these are just pictures I took. You can take pictures of clouds, rainbows, and the great thing is there's so, like, people get worried about like copyright and stuff, but nature isn't copyright. No. You can take pictures of flowers or animals or whatever you like. Just be careful with people, because under US law, there's an issue with likenesses. If you include a person's picture, then you need like model releases and things like that. Otherwise, they can say, I didn't want to endorse your book. Be careful of things like product packaging, trademarks on shops, anything like that. But you can take pictures of walls, fences, textures. I love textures. I think that's a great thing to take a picture of. So like bumpy walls or pebbles or shells, sand, all of those things. So that was what I was working on this week.
That's cool. I love it.
Laurie says she's finding it confusing figuring out the spine in the full width cover in Canva. Have you got any tips?
Yeah, well, okay, Laurie, I do have a video. I think I've sent it to you on the creating a print ready PDF cover. First off, I recommend using print ready PDFs covers now, just because they're KDP's cover creator tool just seems to be getting buggier and buggier. So if you are creating a print ready PDF cover, you have tangent templates, you can use our KDP helper tool to get the exact dimensions you need. And then we also provide a PNG template. So there's not a whole lot to know as far as having the front and the spine and the back, because the spine is only going to be a certain width, and you just need to know where the general location is. But in Canva, you can use the positioning tools to center text. So all you really need to do is get your title, put it vertical, and then just center it, like dead center, and you know it's going to be right on the spine. So awesome. that's a quick Canva
Isaac's
tip.
Hot tips.
Yeah.
Did you have a nerd corner today?
I thought that maybe I guess I do as well.
I don't know. It wasn't a trick. Like.
Oh yeah. So really small nerd corner update. Real exciting in the gaming world. Nintendo is their popular Switch. They're coming out with a newer version of it. Whoa. That's $100 cheaper. And it's super light. And so,
you know what cracks me up about this?
What?
Okay, so Nintendo had the DS.
Yes.
Right. So they had the handheld console.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, we're going to make the Switch. Yes. Which is like more kind of like a traditional console, but with elements of being portable.
Yes.
And now they're just going back to like, oh, let's make a handheld console again.
Well, kind of. Okay, here's a brilliant thing. And this is so 2019. So the Switch was a huge success. Without a doubt, it's been a huge success. They hit the sweet spot between affordability and having AAA games. Mm-hmm. While they also are using it to monitor users' activities. So by monitoring—
Wait, is this like in a scary NSA sort of way?
They know if you're using the Switch, whether it's docked to your television or if you're walking around using it as a portable device. So they found the majority of their people are using it strictly as a portable device. They're not even plugging it into their television.
Actually, now, like guys, because I know a lot of you marketers, product creators, think about this. More people are using their consoles on the go.
Yes.
Than they are sitting in front of their TV.
Yes.
So that's kind of interesting. Think about sort of what else does that mean if people are playing games on the go? They need sort of portable things. I don't know. Are people like eating and drinking while they're playing? Are they going particular places? Are they going to parks? Are they sitting in the street? Are they taking them to school or to college? This is good to think about, because you can think about like whether people need special bags or carriers, whether they might want sort of to include something in their planners. Like, think about this. If you're making a gaming planner, and I'm talking sort of KDP people here,
yes.
If you're making like a planner for gaming, or just like a homework planner, maybe you want to put space in there for logging your video gaming scores. Maybe you want to combine workouts with gaming. Like maybe you want to have, that would make a really fun, like a logbook, so that on one side you log your workout and you keep track of all your workout information. On the other side, you keep track of all your gaming information.
Yes.
What games you play.
Yes. And I would go further in that a huge trend right now is people blogging or live streaming them playing video games. So a lot of people, are becoming up and coming influencers, are using video games as their platform to build an audience. So you can write books specifically for people that plan on doing gaming reviews, or they want to share. They have an Instagram or a YouTube or a Twitch account. So you can write books specific to what they're doing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got a couple of good comments.
Oh, cool.
Diane says she likes creating covers in Illustrator, and she loves the tangent template PNG templates for setting them up correctly.
Yes.
It's her second favorite thing next to the listing helper.
Oh, thank you. That's really awesome.
And Marilyn says she agrees with Diane, but she uses Paint, and she says she does the tangent templates way all the time when she creates a new cover. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much. And this is what I love about like hearing everyone, is that everyone has their own method. They all discovered their own method on how they're going to create covers.
Yeah.
And they're not locked into one tool, one platform, which I think is really awesome.
Oh, I wanted to share this because this cracked me up. In Japan, they have a hotel that has a flight simulator built into it.
That's crazy.
How awesome is that? we need to go here.
How does this work?
So you go to bed and then you get up in the morning and you fly a jumbo jet.
Oh my gosh. It looks like there's like multiple monitors.
How fun is that? I know. I think it feels like you're actually in.
Oh my God. I wonder if the room like vibrates or something.
Whoa, that would be cool.
Little turbulence going on.
You're like, whoa.
Wow.
I can see some. Oh, hey. I just had an idea. You might need a pilot hat though.
Uh-oh.
You know where Okay, ladies. All right. Okay. I need like a little S to this thing. Wow. I just had an idea. Okay. I'm moving swiftly onwards. Okay. So I stumbled upon Literary Hub this week.
Oh, okay.
And I was kind of enjoying this website. I think it's a great place to go if you're niche hunting people. So check it out. They have a whole bunch of reading lists, which I thought was really interesting. Like the most anticipated books of this year coming out, your weekly guide to what's publishing today, fiction and non-fiction.
Okay.
And I think this is really cool for just getting an idea of what genres are becoming really popular right now. Maybe thinking about doing your own sort of companion books on topics that are popular at the moment. Like this is kind of, I'm not really reading it all as I go, but you've got non-fiction things here, like the American Culinary Revolution and its end. Coffee, there we go, the history of coffee. But really interesting just to sort of see what is becoming popular out there. And one thing I really liked with Literary Hub, and I think this is something that could really appeal to people in our KDP group. I posted the link there this morning, actually. They have interviews with bookstores.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I love this because they're all independent bookstores and they all tend to have their own specialisms. And a few things stood out to me here. One, I think, is really interesting, that this bookstore, Blue Stockings, they also referred to themselves as an activist center. And one thing I noticed with this is bookstores tend to have very strong beliefs. Like people who run independent bookstores, they tend to bring a lot of personality with them.
Yes, I've noticed
so
that. Yeah.
they tend to do things like, I think the Blue Stockings one is a feminist, like a feminist a bookstore, which is kind of interesting. And one thing that really stood out to me was they all talked about community. So the feminist bookstore, the Blue Stockings bookstore, they have an open mic, and so people can go and talk. And they said it was like really crucial in sort of building up their audience, building up their clientele. The Raven bookstore also said they were looking to do things like that, to have open mics, to start having community evenings. And I really started thinking about this, of how there's this overlap between books and community and branding. And I feel like to survive in this day and age, you can't just say, oh, I'm opening up a bookstore, because there's like Barnes and Noble up the road and there's Amazon. So it's like you have to offer something special to bring people into your bookstore, like an experience. And so they all talked about community building and community events. And I really thought about this, how even if you're creating low content books, you could connect with local bookstores.
Oh, that's awesome.
And see whether you can help them, whether you can work with them on community building. Like maybe you could teach a class that's relevant to your book. Like even if you just do planners or something like that, maybe you could do a class on organizing.
That's
like,
really cool.
Most people do not know someone who's created a planner. And I know those of you who are like using tangent templates, who are doing KDP, you've probably created 500,000, well, hopefully not 500,000, but you've created quite a few planners. You could talk about organization. You can talk about sort of getting, I don't know, tracking things, like whatever the niche of your planner is.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I look around San Diego and there's a lot of new age magic bookstores here. Like, I think if you've done like a book about tarot or fortune telling, and I know people are doing spell books. We have spell paper in tangent templates. Like if you've made a spell book using the template and maybe you've added some of your own information to that, customized it a little bit, you could go and not only do a book signing, but you could like talk about that. You could talk about spells and magic and just have and if you don't know much about it, like you've just created the book, then you could open it to the community and just host an evening where people come and talk about spells or magic or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, the same is true. Like, it doesn't have to be magic. You could do, if you've used sheet music, for example, and you made a book that involves sheet music, then you could do like an open mic for musicians, or like a mixer where people come and get to know each other. So it's kind of cool because you can sort of co-brand with a bookstore. You can sort of team up with them and
I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'd love people to post in the group about things they've done to sort of build community in their local areas, and in their niches as well. I mean, like, always think about the actual niche that you're creating for, and whether there's anything more you can do to connect with them. So.
Yeah.
Okay. What else have we got going on? Well, actually, I think I'm through most of it. The only other thing I really wanted to talk about was holidays and traveling. So let me switch. Oh, there we go. So I started thinking about summer holidays and travel, and how you can incorporate travel into your books and your products. And I ended up on the Hilton website, which I thought was kind of interesting. So they have blogs. So Hilton's the big line of hotels, and they have some cool blogs on things like packing, where to go, like places to stay. I thought this was like a really sort of cool way to find niches to include in your travel planners and your travel journals, because I know a lot of people are making travel journals. And I think what's nice about travel journals is you could create the same travel journal for multiple countries, but you can customize it by adding in some information about that place, or general travel tips, packing lists. And if you look on Pinterest, there's like a million packing lists of like what to take on holiday, sort of ideas before you go, things to prepare. You could do things like checklists, like make sure you've got the dogs taken care of, they're going to stay somewhere. Make sure you've got, I don't know, the tickets checked, your boarding passes.
This is really cool. I know my brain went more into like travel stuff for having information for specific niches, like maybe urban exploring.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or UFO hunting, going back to aliens, the unexplained, the occult, maybe where are known to have occultists, occultic like activity, I guess.
Whoa, you went super specialist.
Right.
Actually, that's a great idea though, doing like specialist travel. So returning to the public domain thing we were talking about with aliens, there's actually a few government things that can help with travel information. One of them is the CIA World Factbook.
Oh, okay.
Which has tons of stuff. You can go and look up any country here. Does it have Guernsey? Let's see if it's got Guernsey. It's
got Guernsey.
Check it out. That's where I'm from.
What does the CIA say about your little island?
They went, beware, Catherine came from here. Look out. Yes. Check it out. There's Guernsey. That's where I lived, so just around there. I lived in Alderney too for a while. But it gives you like all the information about it, what language, what the weather's like, what you might need to know.
So what language did you speak there?
God knows. I don't know. Some kind of English. But yeah, so you can go and get a bunch of sort of facts, information from the CIA World Factbook. Yeah. Which is just.
Wait, what's military and security?
There's a pretty strong. Oh, defense is the responsibility of the UK.
Pass the buck.
It's
Zip,
the UK.
Zero.
Transportation? I don't know. Two
air carriers. Okay.
Wait, there's 2 airports? I thought there was only 1. Did they build an extra airport? Wow.
It's the secret one.
I see
the Area 51 airport in Guernsey.
So anyway, it's kind of neat that. Oh no, you know what it is? They're including Alderney, and Alderney has an airport.
Oh, okay.
That's why there's 2 airports.
So it is part of Guernsey.
So it's complicated, but this is basically called the bailiwick of Guernsey, and it includes Sark, Alderney, and Herm, which these are the little islands.
Oh, okay.
So that makes sense. So anyway, CIA Factbook, it's a great place if you're looking to create things like travel journals, books about particular countries. You can put your reference information in there. Now, the other thing I wanted to share on the topic of travel and government information, check this out. This is from the Library of Congress.
Hey.
These are free posters that you can use.
Oh,
they're public domain.
Cool.
You can use these for whatever you want. You can put them on T-shirts, put them on posters, put them on book covers. I love these. See America. How cool is that? There's kind of it's my computer's running a bit slow. Kind of in Red Dead land here.
Oh my gosh. So my brain is like, okay, go in Photoshop, remove the text, add new text below it.
and maybe filter it, make it a bit more red and kind of change the colors up a bit. But yeah, there's so much stuff if you want sort of additional things to put into your products, into your books. Oh, I had one other thing to share. What was it? Let me see. Was it this one? Oh, I can't even see what I'm doing now. Zoom just kind of changed its layout, which is messing with me. Oh, I got 2 other quick things to share. Let me see. Hold on, I gotta go back to Zoom. There we go. Share and okay. This article cracked me up in The Hustle. They had an article on the women who win hundreds of sweepstakes per year. I used to do this. This is the thing I used to do before I became like a treasure hunter. But I have to say, I did it in England. And when I started reading this, most of the people who are actually doing it are in the UK, who are doing it successfully. Wow. So I think there's actually more money in this in the UK just because it's a smaller country. So you've got a greater chance of winning.
That makes sense.
But I thought this was really interesting. There are still people who make some money per year just by entering contests.
Oh my gosh.
So 4% of the people who do this make 12 grand a year on average.
Wow.
So that's kind of interesting. And they said the majority of people who do it seriously as a hobby are making between 1,000 and 3,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
So I thought this was a really fun sort of story. I used to do this. I won a lot.
Well, my first question is, it's amazing that they're making any money just by signing up for sweepstakes. How much time are they investing in this?
When I did it, this was, I can talk about what I used to do.
Yeah, sure.
So I used to use a website called Loquax. And I think it was, I don't know why it's called that.
Yeah.
And they had a list every day of all the contests that were anywhere, in magazines, on TV, on websites. And I pretty much had a routine that I would go through, I would go through the whole list. I would go through all the quick ones to enter. Now, what I discovered was the more difficult to enter the contest, the more likely you are to win.
Okay.
Because people are super lazy. If you ask people to do anything, whether it's sort of create a photograph, write something, write a slogan, most people won't bother. They turn off and they're like.
So what I hear is anything complicated means you need to invest more time.
Yes.
Okay.
But it can be, well, I found it could be worth it. I won quite a lot of cash prizes. I won, oh my gosh, this is when my girls were babies, and I won this whole big baby change center with like diaper cream for a year.
Oh my gosh.
I'd get goodie bags pretty much every other day. So a lot of contests, they tend to have like, so what they do is they have the main prize and then 100 people win goodie bags. So, and I actually did it. The reason I did it was actually to get me through postpartum depression. I was just kind of really depressed when my girls were little, and entering contests gave me something. What it meant I got mail every day. And in a weird way, waking up and knowing I had mail kind of got me through the.
Did you get like an onslaught of like spam emails?
No, because it was before spam really started happening.
So I feel like if you did this today, like you would just cover it in spam. Right. So then the trick is to use a dedicated email for this. But then that dedicated email is going to be covered with so much spam. I feel like you're going to be spending time having to sift through all of that.
Yeah, but it's kind of like pick your battles.
Yeah.
So what I tried to do is look for the really obscure ones. Oh my gosh, there was one for a little town in England, and they had the craziest contest. They had go and find the deck chairs on the website, and then if you found all the deck chairs, the person who got the most deck chairs would win. And it took like some of them become like literally a hobby. Yeah. And there were some that had little video games and things like that.
Oh my God.
But I found that where these work really well is when it's like a slogan contest or a caption contest.
Okay.
Because if you have a little bit of wit, or you've just done a little bit of practice on how to write jokes or how to write comedy, you're like a million miles away from pretty much everyone else who enters them and just goes, I like to eat sort of Kellogg's cornflakes because they're yummy. And like literally 99% of people, that's what they're going to put. Right. Whereas if you put, I like to eat Kellogg's cornflakes because it's never corny when I tell it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I was going somewhere with that. Because they're less corny than my slogans.
Oh, there you go. They're
more corny than my, you know. That was all right. But I think definitely sort of anything that takes a little bit of effort was where I found money or the prizes were. but you won't get rich unless you're really lucky.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just something to do to kind of get the mail coming in, get some goodies, get freebies, and every once in a while you get. Oh, and the other thing is local contests. Local contests are brilliant because like no one bothers entering. So like if you look and see sort of in local newspapers and things when they have crosswords and stuff, hardly anyone enters those. So those tend to be good too. So it's kind of always the thing of like look away. Like no one wins the big Monopoly thing that like Albertsons and Bonds do because it's just too many people entering.
Okay, so for those of you that are unaware, Catherine, if she has a large Facebook group called Treasure Hunting with Catherine. Obviously, this channel is called Treasure Hunting with Catherine.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yes. Yeah. So, Catherine, I always call her the treasure hunter. And it's so funny because even though she's not going around doing the retail arbitrage anymore, her brain still in that mindset of looking for treasures and looking for ways to save money to game any coupon system that exists.
Awful.
It's not. It's you're very smart about this, and you just contest and coupons. You just like at a whole nother level.
Cheap or something?
I'm just saying that you're just a master at this. And so it's kind of funny.
I thought it was kind of fun that they had a thing on contest. There was one.
Wait.
Well,
what did Lori say here?
Wait, Laurie says she won so much gravy at the Safeway Monopoly.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
She says she did a lot of mystery shopping jobs to get out of the house when she was depressed.
Oh, we did that. That was fun. Mystery shopping.
Oh, we did. We got free dinner at Carl Strauss.
That was awesome. That was really cool.
Mystery shopping's kind of fun. I feel like with mystery shopping, you're never going to get rich doing it, but hey, free dinner.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was cool.
Oh, 3C says she won a brand new stainless steel stove and a cruise. Wow. Okay, that's pretty impressive.
That is.
Oh, I won a trip to see Linkin Park live, but I couldn't go because I had a baby. I had a new baby, so.
What?
I know. I was bummed. It was at the Cool Studios, the BBC ones in London as well.
Oh my gosh!
Like, I couldn't go because I had a little baby. So. Kids ruined everything. Oh my gosh, she's now 18, but you know. Okay, I thought I had one other thing to share. Let me see if I can remember what it was. Oh no, actually I don't have a link to it, but it was interesting. YouTube are they're starting new educational playlists that don't have algorithmically determined suggestions. So what that means is they're starting to put together educational playlists for schools and for kids, but they don't autoplay anything else and they don't give suggestions to any other channels or videos. So they're kind of more safe for like schools or for kids. And I thought this was really interesting.
What qualifies as an educational video that fits in the category?
Oh, well, like, I don't know if you do like,
I mean, are these like, is it simple as a simple like flag or is YouTube curating?
No, YouTube are curating the playlists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they might put together like science playlists or English, like literature playlists or whatever it is. But I thought this was really interesting that it's kind of like, it turns away from the common expectation now that everything's algorithmically generated and like the suggestions you get on YouTube are basically a form of AI. It's like, okay, if you enjoy this video, you might enjoy this video. But when you got kids, you might not want, like, you might be happy with them seeing one video, but the suggested video is something like, let's go and storm Area 51. So I thought that was interesting that they've kind of reversed, or that they're trying something different with that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So we're going to VidCon tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's real exciting.
Yeah, we got to get up early.
Oh my God.
We're taking 2 10-year-old boys to VidCon.
And what is VidCon for the
So VidCon is YouTube's conference in Los Angeles. Actually, I think it's in Anaheim.
Convention Center.
Better make sure we go to the right place. Yeah, VidCon is YouTube's conference in Anaheim. And it's really interesting, actually. They've got a lot of influencers, YouTubers, people who do, well, kind of like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because they seem to be really putting a lot of focus on kids. Like they have chaperone tickets. So you can have a kid and take your child and go as a chaperone. And they really seem to be targeting kids with this particularly. Which is interesting to see because I guess they're sort of the future influencers and future creators.
They know their demographics.
Yeah, and
that's really.
I think kids are really savvy when it comes to YouTube. So
Yeah.
We're going to be there tomorrow. We might do some live. I don't know. We might.
We'll see.
We might do a live.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully next week we can report back on VidCon. Let you know how it went. Also, bear in mind that we will be at ASD at the end of the month. So we're going to put a website up next week. Are we, Isaac? Have you got that in the bag? We're going to put a website up next week to talk about, that has all the information for ASD. We're teaching some classes there. We're going to have a workshop for KDP people, and just I know we're talking about audience and building an audience, and we're going to be talking about publishing books as well. Oh, I think the pizza's at the door, guys. So we're going to head on out. I hope you all have an awesome weekend. We will have a great time at VidCon. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.